Man, I was just laying down to take a nap. Now I gotta tell y'all my fucking movie pitch. Okay, cause no, I've put a lot of fucking thought into the idea of a horror movie based around the urban legend version of Batman. Alright, so get this. The movie does not focus on Batman himself, but on a low-level mobster. Like, just starting out, first couple of days on the job mobster. You can have him be Bill or Joey Frost or whoever the fuck you want him to be. Essentially, I would want it to be Batman Year One, as told from a ground-level mobster. You kinda would never see Batman, with like one exception, but we'll get into it. So as the movie starts out, it's just a regular mob movie. But as it progresses, slowly rackets are starting to get taken down. No one ever dies, and all of the enforcers say the same thing. It was some sort of creature. It was a Batman. And throughout the movie, you get flashback tellings of how these fights went down. Every time, Batman being shown is something different, with only two things ever being the same. He looks like a bat, and his eyes glow white. And I'm just now realizing I will not have time to get into how I want the finale to go, so more in part 2, I guess. This is part 2, go back and watch part 1 for context. Okay, bat horror movie, let's get into it. All of these different mobsters are telling the same story, there's only two commonalities. It looks like a bat, and its eyes glow white. About halfway through the movie, the mobsters see the bat signal for the first time. And they have to decide, does that mean that Batman is a cop, or does that mean that they're warning the public that he's not? I would want Batman to show up on the news multiple times, but I want it with a twist. I would want Batman to have technology on his suit that makes it so that whenever he's filmed on camera, the footage is scrambled and his eyes glow. So he just looks like a demon-shaped silhouette with glowing eyes in staticky, fucked up footage. Never shot professionally, always amateur, always ground level, always terrifying. And as these rackets are taken down, as more and more mobsters are put away, I want the grunt that we started out with to raise through the ranks until eventually he's running his own racket. The last racket that the mob has. And the finale of the movie would start with all the lights going out, a crash being heard, and a batarang hitting the wall. More in part 3. This is part 3, there's 2 other parts, go watch them. Batman horror movie pitch part 3. All the lights go out, you hear a crash of glass, and a batarang hits the wall. The final 20 minutes of the movie would be this small group of mobsters headed up by our grunt trying to hunt the Batman. And I don't want Batman to be shot like a hero here. He is a monster. Crawling on the ceiling, choke slamming people through walls, that kind of shit. I want when mobsters disappear, it's implied he's killing them. We'll know from all of his previous takedowns that he isn't, but the way he's disarming them looks horrendously brutal. Mostly because we're seeing it through the eyes of our terrified protagonist. Until eventually he's the last one left and he says, fuck it. He runs to the roof. He needs to get out of here. He runs out to the roof, he points a gun at the door and he waits. The door opens and he opens fire. Just empties the fucking clip in. And nothing but smoke pours out. Because the Batman is right behind him. He grabs our guy by the throat and he holds him over the ledge of the building. And we get something similar to the Michael Keaton speech from the Tim Burton Batman. I want you to tell all your friends about me. More in part 4? Part 4. I'm sorry for how many parts. I didn't think I had this in me. Go back and watch the other 3 parts for this. Batman horror movie pitch part 4. So Batman gives his I want you to tell all your friends about me speech to the guy, and he's also trying to pry information out of him. And our guy's terrified, he's screaming, he's trying to get out. We see Batman in person here, but it's really shaky and you can't see like his face. Again, bat-shaped silhouette, glowing white eyes. And as he scares our guy more and more, he's not responding to questions, he's just freaking the fuck out. He takes that batarang that Batman threw into the wall earlier. By the way, I didn't mention it, this guy picks it up at some point. And he stabs Batman in the shoulder. This is the first guy to ever make Batman bleed. And in pain, Batman drops him. Guy's freaking out, thinking he's about to die, and all of a sudden Batman catches him with the grapple hook. Pulls him back up to the roof, and in his fucking terror and exhaustion, our guy starts to pass out. And as he's going out, he sees this new Batman who just almost killed someone turn away and start to remove his mask in terror. But he blacks out before he sees anything. Fuck, there's just a little bit more. Part 5. Fuck! Okay, I'm gonna try and make this the final part. I promise. Part 5, go watch the previous 4 parts for context. Our guy wakes up in the hospital, surrounded by other mobsters. They say they found him tied up on the roof, everyone else was tied up inside, there was no trace of Batman at all. And our guy's really fucking rattled at this point, and he tells them, Batman's just a man, I made him bleed. I saw him take his mask off. I don't know who he is, but he took it off. And the mobsters don't believe him. How can one guy do everything that the Batman has done? So they tell him, you've had a long couple of days, sleep it off, you'll have your job waiting for you in the morning. That night, our guy can't sleep. Every time he closes his eyes, all he sees is those fucking glowing white eyes. Our guy shoots up, hyperventilating. And he looks in the corner, and he sees a bat trapped inside. Cut back to our guy, and he looks out the window. See the bat signal. At this time of night, it almost looks like the moon. And the last shot of the movie is it cutting back to our guy with a dark silhouette standing behind him. That's my pitch. Let me know what you guys think about it.